everyone, and welcome back to Frequency Writer, Color the Magic, and Whole Soul Mastery. I'm Marie Mohler, and I'm an author, a creative spirit, and a cosmic messenger of living a rich, inspired, empowered, and perhaps quantum life, because that's what we're moving into this time of our multidimensionality, celebrating the divine gifts that we have that are coming back to us in what the great return to the garden. We are returning to the divine timeline, the only true timeline in creation, as this upside down world is turned right side up. And so let's talk about the energies of November 2024. We're going to be focusing on the next stage in the hero's journey. And I have several things prepared for you today to talk about the energies that many of us are feeling in our lives personally as well as collectively. So I want to thank you for joining me today, and let's take a deeper dive into that big picture review. Okay, so here we are in November 2024. We are focusing on stage 8 in the hero's journey, the ordeal. We're going to be talking about rising and returning to the garden. What garden? The original garden, the Garden of Eden, the true garden, the garden of divine creation, right? We want to be returning to the frequencies of the garden in our daily lives now as today's Adams and Eves. There were many messages about that I brought through in the past, and we're bringing it into the present moment because that's where our power is. And I also want to honor and celebrate the extraordinary life and gifts of a treasured spirit soul, Dr. Terry Cole Whittaker. We're going to be talking about all of these things and more in the big picture review and the messages today. So here we are talking about the energies of November 2024 that are inviting us to breathe, center, ground, connect, and partner with Source, and to remember who we really are, right? To embody who we really are. Eons ago, humanity, as you well know, fell from grace in the Garden of Eden. Someday we will know the true history of humanity and how that all unfolded. For now, I have great enthusiasm that we are indeed returning and rising back into the Garden of Eden, God's true timeline. Okay. And in this time of the great return, that great rising, much is expected of all of us. We're feeling it. We're all feeling it. I imagine if you're listening to a video like this right now, you're feeling it too. We are facing tests, allies, and enemies in our own ways. We are facing ordeals personally and collectively. These old 3D systems are breaking down, and many will fail, never to return. Some are being divinely repurposed. Then there are new 5D and much higher technologies, innovations, governance systems, and more that are emerging to liberate humanity from this dark spell and this cycle of separation, right? The cycle of enslavement and incarceration. We're called to listen for where your soul gifts are seeking to empower you to be you to the fullest. This is a huge time where our multidimensional magnificence is unearthing, is emerging. It wants to break free of the shackles of the smallness and that contracted myopic vision that we've talked about for many years on this channel, right? It wants to see expansively. It wants to see holistically. It wants you to be living expansively and holistically. We're also listening for where unresolved energies, unresolved karma, conflicts, and challenges are seeking healing and release in our lives. We are the ones who came for these times. This November, let's remember this. We are here for a reason. In this grand season of ascension, once upon a soul time, not just once upon a time, but once upon a soul time, we have an opportunity to participate consciously in the greatest transformation of a planet that the cosmos, the universe has ever seen. So let's do this. Let's do this with integrity, authenticity, community, and joy. And I'll add enthusiasm, right? I'm also going to be sharing today. I want to honor a beautiful soul, my friend and divine collaborator, Dr. Terry Cole Whittaker. Dr. Terry passed away last week on Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024, at the age of 85. She was an extraordinary teacher, minister, mentor, author, speaker, and liver of life with the greatest enthusiasm. Many of us were her children, her spiritual children, and she mothered this world to the very, very last day. I miss her, and at the same time, I celebrate Terry. She has her new wings, and I am sure that she is thriving in her new form, wanting us to know what she told us all along. You cannot die. You are an eternal being. You taught us this message and more for 50 plus years, Terry, and you are teaching us still. I will be sharing some of my favorite and timeless Terry teachings here in the coming weeks. So please stay tuned for more incredible messages from this special lady and this incredible spirit soul who gave so much to all of us in every way possible. I want to thank you, Terry, and I love you. I miss you, and I know that you're still with all of us. All of your messages and teachings are seeds inside so many people who listened and benefited from all that you gave to us for so many years. And I know so many love you and are loving you still. And I know you are loving us from just another dimension that's simply out of our ability to perceive at this point in time. But perhaps as we return to that great garden, perhaps as we return to the original Garden of Eden, communication with other dimensions and other forms with other spirit souls of light in divine creation will get easier and easier and easier. And I feel you with us in this video today. I felt you with me in this past week. And with that said, I want to share a few messages from Joseph Campbell. And then I have a few more things that I want to share today to honor the life and the gifts and the messages and the heart and soul of Dr. Terry Cole Whittaker. So let's review a few quotes from Joseph Campbell from The Hero with a Thousand Faces that speak to the ordeal. These first couple of quotes really speak to the ordeal. And then I found a few others that just inspired me that felt like they wanted to be part of our conversation today for November 2024 and the remainder of Q4 of 2024. Okay, so Joseph Campbell says, and so every one of us shares the supreme ordeal, carries the cross of the Redeemer, not in the bright moments of his tribe's great victories, but in the silences of his personal despair. I believe in this energy of the ordeal. It typically is not a fun and fantastic stage of the hero's journey. It's not a moment where you feel triumphant. It's not a moment necessarily where you're connecting with that mentor and you're simply making the decision, do I or don't I want to go on that journey? No, at the stage of the ordeal, we are dealing with some very heavy things sometimes. We are facing our deepest fears, our greatest challenges, right? Our biggest foes and adversaries. So we are in this time personally as well as a time collectively. And I find it interesting that we are in stage number 8 at this time when we cross the cusp of November 2024. And in the United States, we have another election. There's a lot playing out in what seems to be more and more a movie of the illusion that some people are still believing is the true reality. For me, it's more and more of a movie, and it's more and more of a disclosure of the illusions that are still playing out in the 3D matrix that is breaking down, falling away, because the true creation is emerging more and more into our lives. And it's through this ascension process where you begin to see deeper than what's in front of you. We begin to see deeper into that movie that we know is an illusion, but more and more people will be awakening to the fact that it is just a movie, that what is being reported on social media platforms, many social media platforms, are in fact just dregs of the old stories of an illusion that's falling away. And the truth is something that you first connect with inside, seeking source, seeking God, seeking to consciously breathe and partner with source is seeking truth. It's seeking to align with the light, the Christed consciousness inside all of us, right? This was a gift of our birthright before all kinds of usurpations since that fall from grace in the garden happened in the first place. Those of us that are remembering the garden, those of us that desire to return to the garden, those of us that feel a sense of we are awakening Adams and Eves, waking from our long slumber in this cycle of separation, there's a lot to be done. There's a lot of innovation and creation and beautiful things emerging. What could be deemed as uncomfortable, what could be deemed as struggling right now, is that there's this perception of the 3D illusion being the only true reality, and that's what's struggling. It has been gasping for air for years. I've been talking about these things on this particular channel on YouTube for many years, and I'm reminding all of us again. The beautiful thing is the focus of the conversation, if you can feel the differences in the messages coming through now, it's not all about the serpent's usurpations. It's not all about the fall from grace, right? Or the fears or the triggers or the traumas or the stressors. It's about thriving. And so while Joseph Campbell, we're spotlighting stage number 8 in these messages and these quotes today, the ordeal is not super fun. But if you understand that any suffering in any form is part of the illusion's game, right? It's part of the matrix. The suffering is matrix. The stress is the matrix. The challenges and the overwhelm, it's all part of that serpent's usurpation of the great garden, right? So when we're suffering, sometimes now I just take a breath because I know what I'm suffering through isn't God's true creation. We don't suffer in the divine creation, the divine blueprint of perfection. We only suffer when a part of our consciousness is attached or somehow mired in the serpent's games, in the serpentine systems. So as more and more of those things wobble and shake and rattle, right, and dematerialize, again, a lot of people may not be seeing that yet, but many of us can perceive this. We can feel it. There's a lot of things that aren't quite right. And if people would admit to themselves that there's something that's not quite right, we could get on with the business of ascending, right? That's the invitation, is to ascension. The invitation is to ascension, the timeline of ascension, right? The acceleration of ascension, all of these things, the quickening of the ascension process. We're in it, and November may accelerate things even further. So part of this conversation is movie or truth, right? Matrix or divine creation. We're being called to discern between the two. And look at this person on the screen in this quote during the ordeal. It's like the struggle to maintain balance while we're carrying the cross of the Redeemer, and we're going through experiences that might lead us into a kind of personal sadness or overwhelm or stress or despair. We want to be achieving that balance between the two worlds. And for me, the way I find that the most is when I can discern that this is illusion and this is the emerging creation. And when I put my attention on what is real and I continue to seek source and partner with source in everything I do as much as I can, the more I can see through the games and tricks of the illusion or the 3D matrix, which for some people that is the solo true reality, that's the only reality. To me, people who are still seeing the illusion as reality are the people who are suffering more at some level and may continue to feel the squeeze until they realize they're just in the theater watching a movie that's not even real and that's ending, it's going away. So that's a powerful, powerful indication of the ordeal's energies coming through Joseph Campbell in that quote. But I like that image on the screen of the balancing act many of us are feeling, right? Okay, and here's another powerful quote, maybe perhaps one of the most direct ones from Joseph Campbell about the ordeal, stage number 8. The ordeal is a stage of death and rebirth. The hero must confront their greatest fear or enemy, and in doing so, they are transformed. Right? The ordeal is a stage of what is dying, what is leaving, what is dematerializing. And through every ending, there's a new beginning. So you can't have one without the other. If you have a death, you have a birthing at the same time, simultaneously. A lot of the language and a lot of the messages that were coming through was this frequency of simultaneousness, right? We are experiencing that. As an old world is dying and falling away, the new one is emerging in its place at the same time. The hero must confront their greatest fear or enemy, and in doing so, they are transformed. That is powerful. That is powerful. And I believe many of us are going through this personally at some level with the energies on the planet right now. Maybe you know some people who are also going through some ordeals right now, confronting greater fears, greatest fears. Many of us are facing some of these challenges, this death in the form of greatest fears, triggers, enemies, tests, right? Villains, something that feels like almost impossible, unconquerable, unreleasable because it's your greatest fear, right? Dr. Paul Panzica would talk about facing one of these threshold guardians. I think the threshold guardians of the ascension process, they are holding the sum of our greatest fears. That is something that Dr. Paul Panzica and I talked about in one of our more recent podcasts. So if we marry some of the messages of Joseph Campbell and Dr. Paul Panzica talking about these threshold guardians, at the time of this ascension process, we are actively engaged in ascension times. So this time with those threshold guardians isn't holding just necessarily the greatest fear, but Dr. Paul Panzica would say it's holding the sum of our greatest fears. So it is a very potent and powerful threshold guardian that we want to move through and move past, which is releasing the ego, dropping the ego, and doing the inner work to move through those greatest fears. The ordeal is no joke. Powerful quote from Joseph Campbell: the hero must confront their greatest fear or enemy, and in doing so, they are transformed. Ascension is a time of great transformation. Okay, and here are three quotes as I was looking up some of the work of Joseph Campbell and looking for more information about the ordeal for this video today. I found this one that some may relate. It would help us in this journey of facing the threshold guardians, right? And as we go through these epic challenges in our life right now and face the biggest fears and face the biggest conflicts and face the biggest foes that we may have had in our spiritual or soul's journey, right? We may have some blunders. So, this is a quote from Joseph Campbell: as Freud has shown, blunders are not the merest chance. They are the result of suppressed desires and conflicts. They are ripples on the surface of life produced by unsuspected springs. And these may be very deep as the soul itself. The blunder may amount to the opening of a destiny. Maybe people are also experiencing this while they're dealing with their deepest fears. If they have a fear of public speaking, they may misspeak. They may put their foot in their mouth, or they may feel themselves in that experience of the fight, flight, or freeze. Maybe they feel frozen in a moment that it feels like an embarrassing blunder. Whatever the threshold guardian is holding for all of us at this unique point in time in the ascension times, sometimes what feels like a blunder or mishap or misstep or misspeaking in some way, it may just be the thing that opens the doors of destiny. Maybe it just is the thing that helps you move through the threshold gates into the next level of your ascension process. And so I can't remember who spoke to this. I know some people in some podcasts with me have talked about this. It might have been Dr. Panzica talking about the fool. Maybe that's what this is all about, the blunders. Sometimes we have to be the fool of our own ascension journey. And if I remember correctly, I feel like Dr. Panzica, at least the energy around our conversations would be that the fool actually was tuned into some level of truth. And the fool in times past, think medieval times, right? The jester who could say things to the king that nobody else could say because he was such a goofball that he said it in jest, but in fact, it may have been the clearest truth. Well, when you think about the energy of the fool and the court jester, and the jokester, may actually be the way that humanity has accessed truth. It's like comedians, right? We've also seen comedians censored over the years, so they can't poke fun with truth or at the truth. And we have less and less of that to challenge the status quo, to challenge the controlled propaganda and messages that we've been receiving in recent years, but certainly for decades, we have fewer and fewer truth tellers. So, getting back to my point, when we're talking about the fool in the king's court, well, maybe that's what we're doing. Maybe we're the jester of our own experiences that need to have some blunders at times to expose the truth inside us to help us face those threshold guardians of these ascension times. And I found this quote inspiring where you just kind of want to smack your forehead and say, "Oh, I can't believe I just said that. I can't believe I just did that." Let's read this quote again. As Freud has shown, blunders are not the merest chance. They are the result of suppressed desires and conflicts. They are ripples on the surface of life produced by unsuspected springs. And these may be very deep as the soul itself. The blunder may amount to the opening of a destiny. So, if that is happening to you, I've had some experiences of that in recent weeks myself, certainly throughout 2024, and I wasn't a stranger to that even before then. We all have these moments when we kind of look like this woman on screen. But the beautiful thing is, sometimes those blunders are the things that unlock the codes inside us for the next level. And we have to be willing sometimes to play the fool in our own experiences through these blunders or mishaps so we can actually access a deeper truth. I think that's also part of the ordeal. I think it's also part of this timeline of the ordeal. This is another quote that I just found really interesting from Joseph Campbell. Tragedy is an unfinished comedy. And if we think about this, like when I've had some of my deeper karmic experiences and my ordeals of the past, it wasn't fun. I mean, I definitely had a significant tragedy in my life that as I was going through it, I can tell you it did not feel like a comedy. It wasn't funny at all. But sometimes, if we're thinking about an ordeal and if we just have some of this context for what's going on, we can know that the tragedy can transform into a finished and more complete comedy in the illusions of our lives in the 3D matrix. I myself do look forward to the fact that when we are in a true divine creation and we have truly transcended the last vestiges of the 3D matrix's games, tricks, and illusions, I will be very happy to embrace divine creation and all the joys of creating and co creating and collaborating in these multidimensional ways that I think a lot of star seeds, if we really allow ourselves to remember, we know that that's how it's meant to be. And maybe we won't need the theater of life quite like it's been. But certainly, if people are going through some tough times in a way that they might call a tragedy right now in their life, I think that's a very powerful phrase. Tragedy is an unfinished comedy. I think if people keep going through the ordeal of what is difficult, challenging, stressful, overwhelming, or tragic, we might actually finish it out with all the elements of what a true comedy is, right? And a better ending, a happier ending, right? I think that's what we all want, but we have to also allow the process of the ordeals. Instead of saying tragedies, I'm just going to say the ordeals. There is purpose in the ordeals. They unlock the higher vibrational optimal timelines that many of us have been praying for, but we're not just going to pray for them and they're going to magically appear in front of us. I believe it takes action. I believe it takes engagement. I think it takes awareness. It takes some preparedness. It requires a lot of the soul skills that we've been talking about for years on this channel. And that is how we're meeting those threshold guardians. That's how we are facing the sum of all of our fears, how we are facing these ordeals, using all the soul skills that we have, maybe even becoming that court jester, that jokester of the fool of our own lives, having some blunders and stumbles and gaffes to move through that threshold guardian, to go through the gate into the next higher level of the ascension process. It's powerful to think about this right now. Okay, and as I talk about this court jester and this energy, right, I love this quote: the privilege of a lifetime is being who you are. And I love this image on the screen of somebody who's creating, who's creative, who's obviously playing and they're playful. Sometimes these ordeals can get a lot better or easier or calmer. We can even calm those stormy waters if we're just willing to play. And in fact, many of you have heard me say this on my channel, Color the Magic, that the reason Color the Magic ever even became anything, a book series as well as a channel on YouTube, is because my inner guidance system and my team, my guidance team, my council of guides, when I was suffering and I was deep in my own ordeal and I could not see a light in any way, a way out, they gave me that phrase to color the magic again. I didn't look like this guy on the screen for those watching the video. It's this picture for those not watching the screen. It's a picture of an artist who's got paint all over him and he's got paintbrushes everywhere, including one behind his ear. It's kind of a silly picture. I didn't feel like that. I didn't feel playful and joyful. But by coloring the magic, it invited that inner jester, that inner playful side of myself, that inner child really, to come out and play when my adult was in too much pain. I let the inner child emerge, and she did color her way out and literally into a book series that many of you have heard me talk about. So I think these are powerful quotes from Joseph Campbell. He did know the hero's journey, and I've been talking with Justy Renson about the heroine's journey, which is a beautiful, it has a lot of beauty. The heroine's journey from the divine feminine perspective of these kinds of soulful journeys. So when you put the hero's journey that Joseph Campbell painted, or the parable that he gave to us, and then the heroine's journey that Justy Renson has offered to us in 7 stages. And I'm sure there have been some other people who have also creatively given us a framework for the heroine's journey. I think we need the heroine's journey as we need both the masculine and the feminine to marry themselves in these conversations. And in fact, I will have a new podcast with Justy Renson coming out very soon in November. So we are going to be talking more about this from the divine feminine's perspective, right? It's going to give us a much bigger picture. So I'm grateful for these quotes from Joseph Campbell. I'm just going to reference the change. We've talked about it in other videos. Is an acronym. We can use the letters in the word change: C for compassion, H for healing, A for awareness, N for nurture, G for growth, and E for empowerment. And there's a lot of great energies in those words that are part of the acronym of change. There's also this, parable that we have that Joseph Campbell gave us, popularized by his book, The Hero with 1,000 Faces. And this parable can be broken down into 3 stages. We talk about this in many of the videos here. The first stage is the initiation, the second stage is the journey, and the third stage is the return. I think we're in that on the cusp of that return. We're moving through the cycle of the journey, and we're entering into the much deeper aspects of the hero's journey, which entails the return. So if we look at the stages, the 12 stages that Joseph Campbell gave to us, I'm going to just name them again as a refresher. So stage 1 is the ordinary world. Number 2 is the call to adventure. Number 3, refusal of the call. 4, meeting the mentor. 5, crossing the threshold. 6, tests allies and enemies. 7, approach to the inmost cave. 8, the ordeal. This is what we're talking about today. The hero faces a severe test or confrontation, often requiring great courage, wit, or sacrifice. Big. The ordeal is big. It is a pivotal point. You cannot skip the ordeal in the hero's journey because it summons all of those amazing skills that help us meet and move through that threshold guardian, the sum of all fears, to enter the garden or the gates to the next level of our ascension journey. So 8 is the ordeal, 9 is the reward, seizing the sword, 10 is the road back, 11 is the resurrection, and 12 is returning with the elixir. Powerful, powerful 12-stage process of the hero's journey. I wanted to further attempt to define the ordeal. I have 3 pieces of information about that. One is coming from a website that I found called the multidisciplinarycreative.com. Their definition of the ordeal is that the hero faces his greatest challenge yet in the form of the antagonist with the knowledge and skills he has obtained up until now. He confronts death or his deepest fear. He then experiences death and rebirth, either literal or symbolic. Okay, that's very powerful and potent, that death and rebirthing. I remember Wayne Dyer talked about this experience of dying while we're alive. This reminds me of that, the ordeal. He experiences death and rebirth, dying while we're alive and emerging in a new form, right? I think during this ascension process and especially post ascension, I think this world, humanity, is going to transcend what we think of as death. There are going to be many elements to that, but I just want to plant seeds that it's possible that death is a construct of a 3D matrix and not something that we experience in the higher dimensions. I can say that just from my past life memories of Lemuria, where people lived for thousands and thousands of years. And so living here in this realm where maybe we cap out at about 100 years, if that, that is so somehow a manifestation of the 3D matrix and the density that we live in here. When we raise our frequencies, we access new technologies, which is even spirituality, right? Our spirituality in the higher realms are technologies. It is a technology, a divine technology inside us. We've just forgotten when we fell into this wormhole, this rabbit hole, this fall from grace. So that's a very powerful and yet simple definition of the ordeal right there. This is another description of the ordeal. It comes from a website called tlu.ee. And I appreciate this website because they have some nice descriptions of each stage of the hero's journey. And they say the hero engages in the ordeal, the central life or death crisis, during which he faces his greatest fear, confronts this most difficult challenge, and experiences death. His journey teeters on the brink of failure. Indy and Marion are sealed in the well of the souls. Annie and Alvy have broken up, and the audience watches in suspense, wondering whether the hero will survive. The ordeal is the central, essential, and magical stage of any journey. Only through death can the hero be reborn, experiencing a resurrection that grants greater powers or insight to see the journey to the end, right? Without the death, you don't have the birth, right? Without the ending, you don't have the beginning. One signifies the other happening simultaneously, right? So the hero may directly taste death or witness the death of an ally or mentor, or even worse, directly cause that death. The ordeal may pit hero against shadow or villain, and the hero's failure heightens the stakes and questions the journey's success. You could think of the movie Die Hard, right? Where he's tested again and again and again, and you wonder if you're even making any difference. The hero may have the power to defeat a villain in the ordeal, only to have to face greater forces in the journey's second half. The ordeal is not the end of conflict for some heroes in their journeys. It's just another next level challenge that they face that is strengthening their resolve to stick it out to the end. In romantic comedies, death can mean the breakup of the relationship. In romance, a crisis of the heart can be a love scene. The physical act of love is a type of death or surrender. The crisis of the heart can also be a moment when a shape-shifting lover suddenly reveals a dark side that attempts to destroy the hero. The movie referenced is Casablanca in this article. So it's very powerful, just the living energies when we think about a death and rebirth cycle. And the hero is embodying this. They are, in fact, living it as they face those threshold guardians. It is a major, major part of all of our journeys. And you don't get to all of the good stuff until you master these challenging, transformative times, right? You surrender that ego, you call forth all your divine skills, and then you go to the next level. But without those kinds of tests, right, we just don't summon the greatness inside us at this level in these ways. Okay, and then in another search I just had on the World Wide Web, this AI overview, I found a couple of these points also interesting. So this statement accurately describes the ordeal stage in the hero's journey archetype, where the protagonist faces their most significant challenge, often representing a symbolic death that leads to a transformative rebirth, allowing them to emerge stronger and more capable to complete their journey. And so the key points about the ordeal, I just like this synopsis: confronting the greatest fear. The hero must directly confront their deepest fears or most formidable adversary pushing them to their absolute limit. Can anybody relate to that feeling of being pushed to your limit? I certainly can. So, another point about the ordeal, symbolic death and rebirth. This stage is often depicted as a moment of near death or extreme vulnerability, like a raw vulnerability, right? Which then leads to a new level of understanding or power. It's almost like that hero comes back stronger when you've just seen them apparently in their weakest moment, right? And then you also have the transformation. By overcoming the ordeal, the hero undergoes a significant inner transformation, gaining new insights and abilities that equip them for the remainder of their journey. Powerful. So I think through these articles that I'm sharing with you here now, it really brings that energy of the ordeal to life. You can think about it when you review some movies. Who are some heroes in your favorite movies who seem to go through a death and a rebirth? We see this again and again. I've seen that in some Marvel films. We've seen it in many ways. We saw it in Harry Potter. We see it in many, many films because it's classic in the hero's journey. And what is the hero's journey or the heroine's journey? It's our journey. It's us. We are the heroes and the heroines of our own ascension journeys right now. Okay, and here are just some notes that I jotted down just as part of this conversation today about stage 8 in the hero's journey, the ordeal. This is a pinnacle experience and stage in the hero's journey where the hero faces their deepest fears or biggest adversary. Our world, you might say, is currently going through one big planetary ordeal. That's what the ascension is. It's like a massive, epic ordeal. Changes in all of the 3D paradigms, structures, and systems are happening, the micro and the macro, on every level, in every morsel of this underbelly of creation. Changes are happening. You might say the old 3D consciousness and illusion is going through a death process, and the expanding higher frequency 5D consciousness is newly birthing. Some see the signs, some still miss them altogether. Regardless of whether seen or unseen, change and transformation at this level is happening. Whether people see it or they don't, it doesn't stop the ascension that's unfolding. Nothing can stop the ascension that's unfolding. Nothing, because this is the time for it in the divine plan. And we are all being affected and we are all being changed and transformed by it. For those that embrace the ordeal type experiences in these times, greater personal power, authenticity, understanding, liberation, we might say creativity and creative self expression, and transformation are just some of the immense gifts that emerge as a result. Can you identify an ordeal in your own hero's journey? Like, can you actually close your eyes and maybe you're going through something right now and you're like, oh my gosh, this video is perfect for me because I'm going through this right now. Might feel like a crucifixion, might feel like a culmination. It might feel like it's that blundering that you can't believe that awkward situation just happened at work or with a partner or something where you just, oh my gosh, can't believe that just happened to you, happened through you in your experience, maybe to help further you along in your journey. Also, can you identify an ordeal in the collective hero's journey going on right now? We might call the election in the United States another ordeal. And I don't see that as a single event. There's certainly been energies in all that's playing out with the election movie and the truth timeline, like where's the fine line in between those things. I think there's going to be a lot in this election cycle in the United States on many levels, local elections, state elections, national election, on every level, but it is part of a much larger ordeal narrative that is playing out in the movie of the 3D matrix that is seeking humanity to awaken. So I think it is a big part of the collective hero's journey for those who live in the United States or who are Americans who don't live here, but just the world is watching. We are all watching and experiencing the ordeal of what this is, because what's happening in the US is happening everywhere else because it's all connected. So change is inevitable, but transformation is a choice. That's a message that you'll see in my film trailer, Freeing an Incarcerated World. More of these dots are connecting. Are we a free world or are we an incarcerated world in this 3D matrix? And if change is inevitable, change is always happening. Transformation, like the hero's journey of transformation, is a personal choice. It's an acceptance of the invitation to adventure and we're in it. And we're here talking about the ordeal. So we're way in that hero's journey and story and narrative right now. And the question is, how can we best meet the ordeals in our lives? How are we accessing and utilizing our divine soul skills? Many have been reviewed in these videos for many years and in the podcast, right? How are we accessing and utilizing our divine soul skills that can be found in our cosmic satchels that live within our very own DNA, our intuition, and our higher consciousness or higher selves to rise into our new extraordinary ascended timelines and our new and extraordinary ascended vessels of divine frequencies of Christed consciousness? How do you want to be transformation and the living light of Christ consciousness in action in your life, in an ordeal, in the stages beyond the ordeal, right? In the stages leading up to the ordeal? How do you want to be your divine soul skills in your hero's journey? That's a big question for you personally. And as the collective goes through this, these are questions for all of us. And now I just want to say, here's the point where I have 7 songs or 8 songs prepared for you, 2 of which are a tribute to Dr. Terry Cole Whittaker. And so there are 2 songs in here for her today to honor and celebrate this marvelous and miraculous and magical and extraordinary life lived. And then I also have a few more messages at the end. So if you can, stay with me. And if you need to depart, I will have the songs also separated out as a song file. You can listen later. So for those who need to depart, thank you for joining me. And those staying with me, let's have a listen to the first song called November 2024.
November skies are calling out. Ride the waves, no space for doubt. Faith in heart, just trust your stride. God will lead where winds reside. Every step a guided flight, divine GPS so bright. Soul sight shows the winding lane. Courage flows like autumn rain. Fortitude in every breath, facing fear, defeating death. Conscious paths in twilight glow, strength within the winds that blow. Every step a guided flight, divine GPS so bright. Soul sight shows the winding lane. Courage flows like autumn rain. In the twilight, shadows fade. Courage lights the path we laid. Faith in heart, our guide and friend. Moving forward till the end. Every step a guided flight, divine GPS so bright. Soul sight shows the winding lane. Courage flows like autumn rain.
Okay, that's a powerful song for November. I just wanted to point out that November skies are calling out. Ride the waves, no space for doubt. It's not time for doubt. It's time for that commitment to get stronger in the storms, right? Faith in heart, just trust your stride. God will lead where winds reside. As the storm clouds are brewing and the winds are blowing, God is here to lead you through these times. And then I just wanted to read the lyrics for the chorus. Every step a guided flight, divine GPS so bright. Soul sight shows the winding lane. Courage flows like autumn rain. If you just feel the frequencies in these songs, the gift is in the empowerment, right? We are sound. Frequency is sound, and sound is information, and information is coming through inspired music for Ascension Times. And that's what I want these songs to be for all of us: inspired and empowering music for these Ascension Times. When we can fortify with divine songs, we can more easily step into, with faith and courage, the ascension journeys that are meant for us as we meet those threshold guardians. We have the strength inside us. Okay, the next song is The Divine Hero. Let's have a listen.
In the heart of thunder, dreams collide. With soul strength, our hero strides. Allies stand through fire and rain. Enemies fall where courage remains. Through the night with soul sight clear, facing shadows, no room for fear. Each test a step on freedom's flight, trusting in the dawning light. Oh, shining bright in the face of the storm, with soul skills kept safe and warm. Freedom's banner held so high, in the hero's deeds we all fly. Scars tell stories etched in gold, soul strength like a lion bold. With faith in the unseen hand, our hero makes a final stand. Glimmers of light in darkest caves, each struggle away hero braves. Whispers of hope in every breath, triumph dances conquering death. Oh, shining bright in the face of a storm, with soul skills kept safe and warm. Freedom's banner held so high, in the hero's deeds we all fly. In darkest caves, each struggle a wave hero braves. Whispers of hope in every breath, triumph dances conquering death.
First of all, I just want to spotlight that energy, the frequency in the words, the divine hero, right? It's like this divine, creative ascension hero, which is different than, to me anyway, than the hero that Joseph Campbell describes. He gave us a universal story, but if we don't lift it off the page in these ascension times, it can still seem a little bit flat. The divine hero is multi-dimensional. It's so robust, it's expansive, and so are your soul skills in the journey. So I just wanted to spotlight the chorus, a couple lyrics from the Divine Hero. Through the night with soul sight clear, facing shadows, no room for fear. Each test a step on freedom's flight, trusting in the dawning light. Oh, shining bright in the face of the storm, with soul skills kept safe and warm. Freedom's banner held so high, in the hero's deeds we all fly. We can soar in these higher frequencies if we will choose them. And if we will choose to do this, to step up in faith and fortitude, there's no room for doubt and fear. I remember Dr. Terry talking about in some podcasts that doubt is the dream killer. Okay. Doubt is the killer of dreams. That is so profound. If you are dreaming of living a higher dimensional life in a new earth, to me, the new earth is the original earth, right? I think we are simply returning to the higher frequency living our souls remember. But to access that higher frequency living and the true divine creation, we have to dream bigger than we've allowed ourselves to dream, maybe in lifetimes. And that means without fear and doubt clouding your vision. Clear soul sight means moving forward with enthusiasm, kind of like also how Dr. Terry talked about prosperity, is moving forward with enthusiasm. This is part of our abundance. This is part of the strength of the divine hero. Amazing song. Okay, the third song is We Came for This. Let's have a listen.
Higher sky is wide, our aim. In the face of thunder we stand tall the same, with our hearts unbroken, courage leading through. Every step together painting skies with blue. Rain might fall around us, shadows try to sway, but we brave the tempest, chase the dark away. Breathing deep with knowing every storm will pass. Victory is waiting just beyond the glass. We have trained for this, we came for this. Sailing through the storms, our hopes won't miss. Shine a light for goodness meets the dawn. Holding firm together we stay strong. In the face of danger, faith will guide our hands. Through the depths of trials, we know where we stand. With the fire within us, nothing can deter. Every move we make with purpose pure. Hear the whispers calling, feel the echo strong. Through the darkest valleys, we still belong. Hands that lift each other, hearts that beat as one. Shining like a beacon, together we've begun. We have trained for this, we came for this. Sailing through the storms, our hopes won't miss. Shine our light till goodness meets the dawn. Holding firm together we stay strong.
Okay, that's so empowering. Many starseeds can relate. We came for this. We are the ones we've been waiting for. I love the lyrics in the chorus on this one. We have trained for this. We came for this. Sailing through the storms, our hopes won't miss. Shine our light till goodness meets the dawn. Holding firm together, we stay strong. Right? It's so powerful, these musical energies, these frequencies in the sounds of these songs, cheering on the divine hero, right? These songs are here to empower you Those of us who know we are here to be rebuilders on the other side of all the shakeups and breakups that need to happen to dematerialize the old structures and to allow in what's new and true that always was, right? And that's why we have to be willing to live the power of the dream and to move beyond our doubts and fears that the ego is willing to seed inside us, our own thinking, contracted with that pesky serpent. So we're the ones who choose to move beyond the ego's limitations in that contracted sight. We want this expansive sight where we allow ourselves to remember we came for this. Okay, song number 4, Through Storms and Trials. Let's have a listen.
Storms and trials we must go, but in the end our hearts will show that every cloud can turn to gold. The magic lies in stories told. Color the magic through the rain. Though we feel lost, the hope remains. Friends and allies light the way, walking us home to a brighter day. When nights are long and dreams do fade, the dawn breaks through a sky unmade. With hands to hold and paths to find, in every heart a love entwined. Color the magic through the rain. Though we feel lost, the hope remains. Friends and allies light the way, walking us home to a brighter day. In shadows deep we hold our call. Together we can rise from all. We'll paint the sky with every hue and find the strength to start anew. Color the magic through the rain. Though we feel lost, the hope remains. Friends and allies light the way, walking us home to a brighter day.
Wow. I didn't realize that this song, Through Storms and Trials, also holds the frequencies of coloring the magic. And let's listen to those lyrics. Color the magic through the rain. Though we feel lost, the hope remains. Friends and allies light the way, walking us home to a brighter day. In shadows deep, we hold our call. Together we can rise from all. We'll paint the sky with every hue and find the strength to start anew. So powerful. Who's ready to start anew? And to start anew, we do have to tap into an inner strength, an otherworldly strength, something beyond this 3D illusion strength, which is all part of what the ideal is designed to do, is to squeeze out the 3D matrix that is the illusion. So we access and we reach for the true sword, the true elixir, the true gems of the journey that really reside in our higher consciousness. We cannot solve the problems from the same thinking that got us here, which is 3D thinking, doubt, and fear. We have to access these higher dimensional aspects of ourselves. And what often produces a willingness to access that is the squeeze on the skill sets from the old matrix that just aren't working anymore. Very, very powerful, that song, Through Storms and Trials. Okay, and so this next song is a tribute to the life, the creations, the mentoring, the magic, the teachings, the ministering, the everything of Dr. Terry Cole Whittaker, amazing spirit. Thank you for listening and honoring my friend and the world's friend, Dr. Whittaker.
You are the soul that shines so bright, with courage soaring like a kite. Your truth is pure, it lights the night. Authentic heart with endless might. You walk the path where few would dare. With faith you tackled every snare. Your spirit lifts us high in air, a guiding light beyond compare. You walk the path where few would dare. With faith you tackled every snare. Your spirit lifts us high in air, a guiding light beyond compare. Amazing spirit, pure and true. Your heart's the fire that we pursue. With every step you lead us through, to find the courage in all of you, enthusiasm in your eyes, no disguise, no compromise. Our spirits lift, we lead us through, to find the courage in all of you, enthusiasm in your eyes, no disguise, no compromise. Our spirits lift, we lead us through, to find the courage in all of you. Your faith, it opens up each door. With you we always can restore. Our dreams, our hopes are in the core. With love and light we feel so sure. Amazing spirit, pure and true. Your heart's the fire that we pursue. With every step you lead us through, to find the courage in all of you.
You are the soul that shines so bright, with courage soaring like a kite. Your truth is pure, it lights the night. Authentic heart with endless might. I love these lyrics. You walked the path where few would dare. With faith you tackled every snare. Your spirit lifts us high in air, a guiding light beyond compare. Amazing spirit, pure and true, your heart's the fire that we pursue. With every step you lead us through, to find the courage in our view. Enthusiasm in your eyes, no disguise, no compromise. Our spirits lift, we rise, we rise. You paint our world with vibrant skies. So many amazing energies of Terry. She was so ahead of her time, and by her being ahead of her time and being right on time at the same time, she helps so many people awaken to the power of metaphysics, the power of being the creator of your life, the power of breathing and meditation, and remembering ourselves as divine spirit souls. There are so many gifts that Dr. Terry Cole Whittaker gave the entire world and anyone and everyone fortunate to know her. Okay, I have one more song for Dr. Terry. It's called Wings to Fly. Let's have a listen.
fly up in the deep blue sky, touch so many lives with truth that never dies. Inspiration burning bright, guiding us through darkest night. Precious spirit so rare, left a mark beyond compare. Big shoes to fill, no doubt, your light won't flicker out. Soar with boundless grace, you've awakened this place. Every step you took with pride, in your heart you'd confide. Your spirit always near, filling us with cheer. Inspiration burning bright, guiding us through darkest night. Precious spirit so rare, left a mark beyond compare. Big shoes to fill, no doubt, your light won't flicker out. Soar with boundless grace, you've awakened this place. Every step you took with pride, in your heart you confide. Your spirit always near, filling us with cheer. Left the world a better place with your kindness and embrace. In every soul you touched, we felt you'll carry much. Big shoes to fill, no doubt, your light won't flicker out. Soar with boundless grace, you've awakened this place.
There are so many frequencies in the song that make me feel Terry's energy alive right here and right now in the present moment. But this chorus especially touches my heart. Big shoes to fill, no doubt. Your light won't flicker out. Soar with boundless grace. You've awakened this place. That is a tribute to my good friend, Dr. Terry Cole Whittaker, my spiritual mother, my co-creator, collaborator, and soul family. Okay, there are two more songs. This next song is Walking Each Other Home.
In the dark forest we roam, finding our path, never alone. Facing shadows hand in hand, friends together through this land. Time to rise, time to see magic colors, wild and free. In the light we feel the glow, walking each other home. Oh, oh, oh. Through the night we find our way, side by side we will stay. Chasing fears, lifting hearts, together strong, that's where it starts. Time to rise, time to see magic colors, wild and free. In the light we feel the glow, walking each other home. Oh, oh, oh. Through the night we find our way, side by side we will stay. Chasing fears, lifting hearts, together strong, that's where it starts. Time to rise, time to see magic colors, wild and free. In the light we feel the glow, walking each other home. Side by side we will stay, chasing fears, lifting hearts, together stronger home. Oh, oh, to the garden where light reigns, God's abundance forever stays. Hand in hand we'll return, in the sunshine let love rise. Time to see magic colors, wild and free. In the light we feel the glow, walking each other home. Oh, oh, oh.
That's what we're all doing, walking each other home. That's what we do at Color the Magic on YouTube and on other social media platforms. We are songfully, heartfully, authentically, beautifully walking each other home in these ascension times. So I love that chorus: time to rise, time to see magic colors wild and free. In the light, we feel the glow. We're walking each other home. Okay, and I have one more song called Starseed's Path. This song goes out to anybody that identifies or knows themselves as a starseed or a traveler from an otherworldly dimension that is tapped into, turned on, enthused about, having a sense of knowing something beyond what this illusion shows us and has told us for eons and eons of time. So let's have a listen to Starseed's Path.
A courageous starseed in the night, lost happy thoughts, storm clouds tight. Wanders through dark forest so deep, wonder if the light she'll ever keep. Color the magic, find your way. Friends by your side, they'll always stay. Freedom shine, break through the dark. Remember the light, it's in your heart. In shadow she wandered, feeling so cold. Memories of light becoming old. A friend showed up with smiles so bright, guiding her back to love and light. Color the magic, find your way. Friends by your side, they'll always stay. Freedom shine, break through the dark. Remember the light, it's in your heart. Color the magic, find your way. Friends by your side, they'll always stay. Freedom shine, break through the dark. Remember the light, it's in your heart. She stands tall, facing the storm, believes in herself, won't conform. With every step her courage grows, in the dark her heart still glows. Color the magic, find your way. Friends by your side, they'll always stay. Freedom shine, break through the dark. Remember the light, it's in your heart.
Okay, that's a powerful Starseed's Path song. It's another song in the Color the Magic series. And the lyrics that I wanted to spotlight are: color the magic, find your way. Friends by your side, they'll always stay. Freedom shine, break through the dark. Remember the light that's in your heart. And in these times, as we face the ordeals of our lives, she stands tall, facing the storm, believes in herself, won't conform. With every step, her courage grows. In the dark, her heart still glows. That song also reminds me of Dr. Terry. She was somebody so courageous who faced many storms in her life, learned the lessons, stepped up with courage, grew, and then brought the teachings back to all of us to share with others on their own journeys, right? To remember who they are so that we can still glow, so that our hearts can still glow. So beautiful songs in this video today for week number 8 since I started making music for the Ascension Path. And next, we will talk about whole iceberg living. I wanted to talk about how humanity has reached a precipice in the past few years. We can't go backwards. We must step up and step forward with faith the size of a mustard seed or bigger, and face the personal and collective tests and challenges that these times are summoning. We are living in times of personal and collective ordeals that may transcend our human language. We may not even have words for it, but our souls know. We can feel the depth of the energies infusing this world. Our spirits know what these times are all about, and it is from this deep inner wisdom, this deep soulful knowing and remembering that we will and we are transcending those tests and challenges for all time, forever, in all directions of time. Remember that transcending means the trance is ending. Transcending means the trance is ending. Let's honor the significance of the 3D illusion's ending, its death, and celebrate the new birth of humanity's rising back into grace. We are returning to grace. We are returning to the Garden of Eden, the original templated perfection of the great Garden of Eden. We are returning to that grace, having lived out the great fall from grace. And let's affirm it is good to be returning home to divine grace again. And I wanted to spotlight a message that relates to whole iceberg living from Dr. Terry Cole Whittaker. She says in this video that was recently released before her passing, what's most important for you to know now. In this video that you can find on her YouTube channel, it's Terry Cole Whittaker's YouTube channel, she says to breathe into our hearts right here and now. Breath is very important for all purposes to help us. What's most important for us to know right now is this topic of her video. And she reviews this message. In order to empower yourself, you have to know how you are depowered. It's an insight that she extracted and learned from Ingo Swan's work. In order to empower yourself, you have to know how you are depowered. This is key. How are you depowered? How is the matrix depowering you? How are your thoughts and belief systems depowering you? That's part of this big iceberg for whole iceberg living. We see the tips, but so often people don't go into the depths, right? These things that depower us are in the depths of the iceberg. What's that? It's an ordeal waiting to be discovered. If we will go into the depths of what's depowering us with a mentor, with a teacher, with a coach, with a therapist, however anybody chooses to do that, with direct connection with your divine source, this is a key insight to whole iceberg living. When we go into the depths of what's depowering us, we find the gifts of our empowerment as a divine, precious spirit soul, as Dr. Terry would say. So we often want to celebrate our strengths, right? Which is that tip of the iceberg, in the tip of the iceberg. But in these times, we also need to know where we are depowered as well. So you can check out her messages on her channel on YouTube, Terry Cole Whittaker, to learn more. And I just want to honor Dr. Terry with this last slide. She was born December 3rd, 1939, and she passed last Tuesday on October 22nd, 2024. My friend, spiritual mother, co creator, collaborator, and soul family, I love you forever, Terry. You are a divine spirit soul who touched millions of lives with your teachings, ministry, heart, passion, and enthusiasm. I know you are dancing, singing, and enjoying your new wings. Fly free, my friend, and I thank you for being authentically and fabulously who you are every day in every way. And thank you for reminding us always to do the same. I love you, Dr. Terry, and I know many around the world are honoring you and the gifts you gave in every way that you could. You inspired humanity. You inspired this world and you made us better. And I'm so grateful for how you took the complexity out of so many religions and all those things, and you restored God's divine simplicity. It was that simple. And you lived that simplicity. You are a great teacher. You are a great teacher, and her teachings continue through all of us who can carry those seeds in all that we do. Thank you, Terry. Okay, and with that said, I invite you to join my Substack page, frequencywriter.substack.com. And so I want to remind people that they can go to Dr. Terry's Substack page, where she has many wonderful writings, where she was sharing a lot of the things that she was working on in the last years. And she has the 8 steps to spiritual and earthly riches, along with some other insights, including taking back the world, our own. Right? She was all about us claiming who we are and taking back our own world, because that's what changes the world. Okay, and I invite you could check out my frequencywriter.com website. It has my Shine Your Light ebook series, and my Freeing an Incarcerated World film trailer is there. But if you are seeking any new blog posts or videos, they can be found really through my Substack account here at frequencywriter.substack.com or on YouTube, and that's Color the Magic on YouTube. I also invite you to check out Whole Soul School and Foundation. Please consider making a donation, big or small, to this humanitarian project that's going to grow in the times to come. There are many wonderful Fireside Chats podcasts, as well as other podcasts that speak to the hero's journey. Check those out. You can visit with us on many social media platforms. I invite you to subscribe and share this video. And thank you for visiting with me today to the end. And I'm going to see you soon again for more inspirational podcasts, messages, and musings. I have another one coming out from Justy Renson, where we're talking about the heroine's journey. And there will be others who join me hopefully soon. November and December are big in the final quarter, in the final turn of 2024. A lot more is going to happen. And 2025 is going to be a very potent year of powerful changes. We've been hearing this, but we will be at the midpoint of this 2020's decade. And so I would anticipate a great deal of change forthcoming in the next few months and the next year ahead to start to transform this world. More structures coming down, more new structures rising. So with that said, thank you for joining me today, everyone. Blessings, and I'll see you soon.